What do you call a man with no arms and no legs in a pile of leaves? Russell. What is up, YouTube? We are back with another video. Making the case, Larry Bird, highly requested. I knew I'd get to it sooner or later, but I'm glad we finally got to it. Hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks for clicking on the video. Road to 3,000 subs. My wife is in the bathroom right now. She'll probably be out here in a minute, but I don't think she's watching the video. She's got stuff to do. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Without further ado, we're going to hop right into this bad boy.
Special. The size of the court and the lack of pads or helmets give fans the most intimate experience of a team sport that exists. And because of the different styles that basketball allows for, players develop their own distinct identities and signature styles through their creativity, flair,
is that Pete?
And athleticism. And although no player succeeds alone, the scoring volume and two-way nature of the sport give individual stars a nearly unprecedented amount of control over the flow and outcome. For this reason, players are constantly compared to their peers, the legends of the past, in order to answer the most hotly contested question in the sport: who's the greatest to ever do it? For many, the question is redundant. They believe in only one right answer, their answer. Others might have their own personal stance, but
Jalen Rose.
That there's much more nuance to the question of greatness and more answers to it than you might think. By my count, there are 8 players in NBA history that have a substantial claim as the GOAT. It's a subjective thing, though. I can't give you a definitive answer. All I can do is make the argument. So today, I'll be making the case for the greatest basketball
Mr.
player
Bird.
of all time.
I'm excited for this one, fellas. Seems like there's a bunch of cases for different players, so might have to check those out.
When it comes to basketball, Larry Bird is the smartest, clutchest player to ever play the game. Now, if you don't think that Larry Bird is the greatest basketball player of all time, you probably hate that I just said that. Those are the kind of talking head sport cliches that surely impact the game.
Stephen A. Smith.
To empirically
only listen. He just talks out of his Johnson.
I think that when you talk about Larry Bird, you see those intangibles become real, palpable results. I wouldn't have said it if I didn't believe it. When Larry Bird was drafted by the Boston Celtics in 1978, the NBA needed saving. Attendance was in the toilet, the league had few marketable stars, cocaine addiction had several players in its grasp, and most damning of all, playoff games were being tape delayed. Playoff games at the highest level of basketball were being put in the back seat for black and white movies and network reruns. But rather than join the Celtics,
you're joking, right?
Overall, Larry Bird decided to return for his final year at Indiana State, a decision that would prove to be one of the most important in the history of the sport. Bird's final year saw the Sycamores tear through college basketball, going 33-0 before the national championship game. Bird, already claimed by the NBA's most historic and prestigious franchise, had established himself as the generational talent who would inherit the mantle of pro basketball. Indiana State's opponent in the national championship was Michigan State, captained by the immortal Irvin Magic Johnson. The Sycamores lost the championship.
That is a crazy photo.
The game in the history of basketball at any level, still to this day. The stage had been set. The next decade of basketball would be defined by the
highest rated. No, that's not right. No way. 35 million?
The rivalry between the white French Lick and his Boston Celtics and the black Magic and his Showtime Lakers. The rivalry between Bird and Johnson is entwined into the fabric of the NBA and is worthy of 100 documentaries. In this video, though, we're going to be looking at Bird's claim of supremacy. Here's Bird's basketball resume. His 3 championships come with perhaps the highest collective degree of difficulty of any player's championships. His 3 MVPs came consecutively, making him only the 3rd player to accomplish the feat, along with Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. His 2 Finals MVPs are misleading. He was absolutely the best player on the '81 Celtics.
2 out of the 3? Pretty good rate.
15 points per game in the finals gave the media an excuse to exact a little vengeance on a legendarily difficult
I'm not going to be that guy, but 15 points in the finals?
Interview. His all-star and first-team selections also come with the caveat that Bird only played for 13 seasons and missed all but 6 games of the '89 season.
He only played 13?
Both feet. I can hear you already.
Wow.
A 13-year career. and this guy is supposed to be the GOAT? What color of paint are you huffing, Clayton? Green, obviously. But hear me out.
What?
Yeah, Bird's career lasted about 2/3 as long as it should.
Wow.
But what he did in that time was so impressive and so substantial.
I didn't know he only played
every
13.
Basketball fan acknowledges that he's in the conversation as the greatest ever. Doesn't it matter that those 13 years saved professional basketball, delivered a disproportionate amount of memorable moments, defined the golden age of the league, and produced a career by which all other forwards, before or since, are measured? Bird squeezed every drop of talent out in those 13 years and made it seem more like 30.
Is he talking about his
Just
Johnson?
his fingerprints on the game. He left so much of his DNA in the sport that it needed a cigarette afterwards. There's something to be said about the candle that lasts half as long but burns twice as bright. Those 3 MVP years stack up with any other run by any other player. I will put an A+
26
Larry Bird season up against anyone's. What does an A+ Larry Bird season look like? A full box score, a blowout win, a nearly undefeated record at home, and a play style that could only be described one way: white. Larry Bird isn't just a white basketball player, he's the white basketball player. To describe Larry Bird's game is to thumb through the Hoops dictionary and pick out every cliche about white players.
That was a tough move.
Great shooter, good fundamentals, the whole thing.
Wow.
The type of a white basketball player is Larry Bird, with one exception. He had an unparalleled understanding of the game of basketball, both as a physical contest and as a mental competition.
He just played with people, bro. That's so disrespectful.
Vaulted his career into legend. Bird was a complete player. Jerry West called him nearly as perfect as you can get. He was the league's first great marksman. He could contort his body to shoot from anywhere on the court, regardless of the level of defense. He pioneered the art of the dagger 3.
Who's doing that these days? That's right. Nobody.
Regardless of the level of defense.
You ain't Kobe Bryant.
The art of the dagger 3 and was the founding member of the 50-40-90 club. At 6'9", Bird's understanding of angles and coordination led to a higher rebounding average than Patrick Ewing, and it made him an impressively adept finisher in his younger years.
Okay.
86, Bird dropped 47 points on the Blazers, playing the majority of
left-handed.
the game left-handed.
Yep.
His lack of quick lateral movement meant that Bird didn't do much when it came to slapping the floor and picking up the opposing point guard, but his size and omniscience gave him the ability to body similarly sized players, read defenses like a free safety, and pick off passing lanes with ease. His passing was transcendent, and I'll highlight it later. And of course you need to know that Larry Bird was a tough effort. He had a superhuman motor and dove for loose balls like a beagle at the park. He was a willing participant in his share of fights, often precipitated by his league-renowned trash talk.
Oh, yeah.
I told Robert Reedy the other day that he should have stayed in preaching. That was funny. He had 50 points. I was guarding in my rookie year. He looked at me and he goes, "You can't stop me." And I looked at him and I said, "Gosh, boy, you're so confident." He proceeded to score like 10 straight points on me. The coach took me out the game. He walks by and he's laughing at me.
He was a basketball genius. He'd be a step ahead, a thought ahead.
Dr. J.
Play the game like a chess game.
I'd much rather guard Michael Jordan than Larry Bird because you have to play the game as a thinker when you play.
Yep. I was just thinking that. Oh, what?
Put all of us in a room, you know, Magic, Jordan, myself, and Bird. Bird probably be the guy who walks out of the room at the end of the day.
Did you notice something during those testimonies? Those are some of the best basketball players of all time, and they all sing Bird's praises like they were former assassins who had to go toe-to-toe with John Wick, and they're just happy to be alive.
I know they're not comparing Larry Bird to Keanu Reeves. Come on.
Bird excelled during one of the most talent-rich periods in league history. The abridged list of his basketball rivals goes like this: Dr. J and Moses Malone on the Philadelphia 76ers, Sidney Moncrief on the Milwaukee Bucks, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer and the Bad Boy Pistons, Dominique Wilkins on the Atlanta Hawks, Bernard King on the New York Knicks, Michael Jordan on the Chicago Bulls, Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson on the Houston Rockets, and of course, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, there's no point avoiding it any longer. We have to look at Magic versus Larry. If you have Magic over Larry, it's because he has 5 rings to Larry's 3, had a peak that lasted about 2 or 3 years longer than Larry's, and had a 2-1 record against Bird's Celtics in the finals. Perfectly legitimate.
And Magic Johnson is 1-0 against AIDS.
Completely respectable arguments. But in the interest
Wait,
of making Bird's
0-1.
case, allow me to retort. For nearly the entire decade of the 1980s,
Did you come out of the closet? Or bathroom? What?
the
Didn't even recognize
Eastern
it.
Conference was irrefutably the more competitive conference between the two. Considering the competition, for Bird to have made 5 finals appearances is just
I don't
as
even know how that
impressive
went
as
through.
Magic's 9. As for the head-to-head record responsible for Magic's 2 extra titles, he had more
Nah. Doing a hook shot from the free throw line is crazy.
9. As for the head-to-head record responsible
That might be a little further past it.
for Magic's 2 extra titles,
Yeah, Kareem was
he had
different.
more help. Seriously, the Celtics' Big Three and the Lakers' Big Three get compared all the time historically as if they were of equal caliber, but weren't Magic's accomplices just a step above Bird's? No disrespect at all to
Kevin McHale
and Robert Parrish, but Kareem was the alpha dog on the 71 Bucks and was the best player for at least 2 of the Lakers' 5 titles.
Sheesh.
James Worthy was the #1 pick out of UNC after winning a championship as the best player on a team that had Michael Jordan on it. Throw in the
looks
fact
80.
that Magic got to be coached by Pat Riley, one of the most brilliant minds in basketball history, and you could say that the Magic Bird argument comes down to one thing: luck.
Don't you?
So if their careers come down to luck, the question just becomes who you
Wow,
would rather
what a
take.
dime.
Now, I'm not making this video to tell you why you shouldn't take Magic. I'm
That's
making this
such a
video
clean
to tell you why you
pass.
should take Bird. Not just over Magic, but over
Oh,
everybody.
yeah, you
One
got
thing that
played,
helps
buddy.
him is the fact that his play would translate perfectly into the league.
Dunk him.
today. A 6'9" sharpshooting forward with eyes in the back of his head who averaged double-digit rebounds in an era against Moses and Lambeer. He'd gobble up boards as a power
My
forward.
gosh.
He'd be an offensive
Forcing 'em.
mismatch against everybody as a small ball center, and his off-ball skills and passing would pair perfectly with the flow of today's game.
Boom.
Add in his competitive
me
mania
that.
and 3 generations worth of medical advancements, and we're talking about a player
Hey,
who
Bird got some
stuck around so
bunnies.
long they would have had to rename the league. As you've been watching these clips of Bird, I
Hmm.
would hope that you would notice something. He always knows where everybody is.
Light
Watching
died.
Bird play basketball is like watching those monsters from A Quiet Place that know where you are if you make any noise at all. Bird had a level of clairvoyance that bordered on the unnatural. In '85, he ended up 1 steal away from a quadruple-double after playing just the first 3 quarters. His passing was famously infectious and helped transform the Celtics of the '80s into an ideal that basketball teams at all
Triple-double.
levels are
Come
still
on
shown
now.
tape of. They moved the ball with precision and intent, always looking
Has anyone ever gotten that in the NBA? Quadruple double?
for better shots and determined to get the entire team involved in the effort. That fact is almost entirely attributable to Bird and his wizardry with the ball. This acumen also helped Bird become the only player with a GOAT claim to transition successfully into other basketball roles after his playing career. In his 3 years as the head coach of the Pacers, Bird won a Coach of the Year award, coached the Pacers to their first and only finals appearance, and gave Michael Jordan as much trouble as he'd ever gotten in his career
Sorry. I didn't know he coached for 3 years.
in the 98
That's a little
Eastern
different.
Conference Finals. After moving into a
I knew he was the
front office
owner.
role for Indiana, he won Executive of the Year in 2012, becoming the only person to have an MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year award. On the court or off of it, inside and out, Larry Bird sees basketball as only he can. That intelligence
He only
also
coached
lends
for
itself
3
to
years,
Bird's
though. I didn't know
defining
that.
skill, making the big plays. Remember, NBA players get paid to win games. James Harden is getting paid nearly $40 million this year because he's supposed to help the Rockets win games. Victory can be achieved in a lot of ways, and the win column doesn't care how it happens. As Mark Sinclair once said,
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
but when your
Win's a
team
win.
is down 1 in a crucial playoff game with 8 seconds left, and you need to hit a shot to stay in the series and keep your season alive, that's where players really separate themselves and earn their money. Love it or hate it, it's the players that come through in the big moments that live
Jerry
forever
West
in
going
memory.
crazy.
Some players, for whatever reason, were never able to do it consistently. Some
Patrick
players
Ewing.
were truly outstanding at it. Larry Bird was the best at it. I'm not going to give you the stats about his field goal shooting under 2 minutes with a score that's this close, or tell you who has the most buzzer beaters, or any of that.
Take that for data.
I'm just going to show you clutch moments
That's
in
why
clutch
he's
situations.
so mad.
1985 against the Blazers. Bird drops 48 points, including this. Down 1 with 2 seconds left.
Inbound pass, they double team and Bird. Larry, fake, fall away.
Like how? It just makes no sense how he makes that.
1985 against the Hawks. Bird sets the Celtics scoring record with 60 points with shots like these.
They open the right side. Bird the follow away. He drills it again. That's the best shooting I've ever seen.
1986 against
That
the
bench
Rockets.
was sick.
Not all of Bird's clutch moments were singular. The bigger the moment, the bigger his performance. In Game 6 of the 1986 NBA Finals, Bird clinches the championship with a triple-double in what he calls the best game he ever played.
2 seconds on the shot clock. Bird wants a three out of it. He gets it.
Okay. They just missed that high five. I'm not gonna talk about it.
Bird hits one shot to tie it before it's waved off because of a timeout. Hits another shot to tie it up for real.
Crowd is standing up. It goes now to Bird.
A little one-legged?
And then in double overtime, down one, he does this.
It's going to go to Bird. He's got a shot. Get it.
God. That dude is going to have an aneurysm. What is he doing?
From 1986 to 1988, the three-point contest knew no other champion but Larry Bird.
He's still got to drop one here quickly. 14. This is a tie for the money. Yo!
He knew it.
1987 Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5. Tied at 2 games apiece against the Bad Boy Pistons, this enormous game would put the winner 1 game away from the NBA Finals. The Pistons are up 1 with seconds remaining.
Sent it back.
The ball goes out of bounds off the Celtics. Isaiah Thomas just needs to inbound the ball to win the game.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the knee.
Give me that.
Right at 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the inbounding pass.
There are truly too many big games and big moments for me to go through without this
Rookie
ending up as a
mistakes.
documentary. But that all leads me to this, what I really want to talk about. 1987 NBA Finals, Game 4 against the Lakers.
Against the big
LA
three.
is up 2 games to 1, and the Celtics need to win to tie the series and stay alive. Bird hits a 3 with 12 seconds left to go up.
How does he get out open? Dagger.
Kareem comes down and gets fouled with 8 seconds left.
He gonna
He
miss.
makes the first,
Oh, misses the second.
but misses the second. LA ends up with the ball with 7 seconds
Wow.
left, down 1 point.
In the low post, being guarded by Dennis Johnson.
Byron Scott is in the ball game now.
Magic gonna shoot
hits
it?
this, the baby skyhook.
Magic with a hook shot. Scores.
Wow.
2
2
seconds.
seconds.
left, down 1.
Dennis Johnson on the inbound.
Uh-oh.
Bird fires it.
What do you think happens?
Larry Bird shooting it. 2 seconds left. Need him to win. Probably gonna make it.
I bet it wasn't that.
Okay.
When I paused
Hold
the
up.
tape and the ball was hanging in the air, you thought it was going in.
Yeah, everyone
Thought It
did.
was going in. Magic thought it was going in. I've seen this game before,
Dang.
and I still think it's going to go in.
I think me too. I think I did watch it in
Pat
the
Riley
Larry
said it
Bird.
himself. We got lucky. And that, a missed shot in the NBA Finals is why he's the clutchest. Because after he makes the big plays, has the big games, hits the big shots, time and time again, you expect him to hit every shot, to win every game.
I mean, like, that is fair. That is fair.
When he looks like a mere human, when he looks like everyone else who tries to do what he does, you just can't believe it. That's what Larry Bird did. He made the big plays so often, you thought he was going to make them every time. He helped turn basketball into a global phenomenon, paving the way for every Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or LeBron James who comes through our lives. He played basketball in its
I didn't know my name was Through Our Lives. Wait. Our Lives.
purest form.
You know what I
He
mean.
captained a team that is consistently ranked among the greatest of all time. He has the second highest win percentage in the history of the NBA.
Bro, they
Behind
stormed
Magic, less
that.
than 1/2 of 1%.
Again.
About 10
The game was still going on and they already ran the court.
ranked among the greatest of all time. He has the second highest
3 seconds.
win percentage in the history
2 seconds. Look. They're already on.
of the NBA.
They said,
Behind
screw
Magic,
that.
less
I'm
than
going.
1/2 of
I'm raiding these
1%,
boys.
About 10 games. He was the complete package, a player with no holes in his game whatsoever. They called him Basketball Jesus. He didn't get that
It's a good
name
name.
without doing something extraordinary. He saved basketball, and he did it by playing it better than anyone else. Here's Magic at Bird's retirement in 1993.
Larry Bird said that there would be another Larry Bird one day. And Larry, there will never, ever, ever be another Larry Bird.
Game respects game.
To, the greatest basketball player ever, but more important,
a friend
forever.
Go things. Bro, how much you think that shirt would go for today? I'm assuming like probably 10 mil. I might be overheaded, but that jersey? Woo! Well, there's making the case. I think I'm going to watch some other videos on making the case to see where I stand as far as the GOAT, according to these videos, of course. But there was a lot of facts that surprised me. I didn't know he coached for 3 years as a head coach. I didn't know that. And he won Coach of the Year, which is pretty cool. So there's Larry Bird. All you guys been asking for Larry Bird. Got it done. Any other making the cases you guys would like to watch, drop that below. But yeah, like the video, subscribe if you're short of me, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Later.